the Running Chills podcast. Tonight, we have a double feature. Oh, Josephine and Growl. But first, a word from our spirited sponsors.
The Running Chills podcast is supported with generous donations from undead like you and by the Afterlife Dating Network. Looking for hot single ghouls? Look no further. Give the Afterlife Dating Network a try today. Enjoy our tales? These stories are available via Kindle, paperback, and even a hardcover edition. You can find all of them in Rip Graven's book, Running Chills, wherever books are sold to mortals. Interested in supporting our podcast? Visit talesbyripgraven.com to join our Patreon and receive exclusive merch, such as the Running Chills t-shirt, as well as access to a full digital issue of Haunters Monthly. You can even sign up for us to send a raven your way each time something new is unearthed in the Running Chills universe. And now, I'll turn it back to our hauntingly good host.
I'm just breathless, waiting to see if our listeners drag their corpses over to subscribe. And now, oh Josephine, happiness is yours for the choosing.
Oh, Josephine. Without you, these walls are barren. I stand alone in the home we built, waiting for you to haunt these halls. Why did you leave me in such haste, without so much as a goodbye? My days are filled with sorrow, and my nights of restless slumber. Half as I'm just asleep, I make out a blurry vision of your approach, beckoning me to join you for one last dance. I now lie awake, staring at the ceiling of our bedroom. If the sound of music filled this dwelling once again, would your soul descend and join me? I shall put a record on. Odd that such a sharp instrument, this needle, be required to produce the loveliest of melodies. Not dissimilar to your passionate way of presiding, your presence brought out the most beautiful refrains. What a life we had. How empty my life has become, oh Josephine. I hear a noise upstairs. I'm disappointed to find it was only the sound of the house, shifting under the weight of my sorrows. Come back to me, oh Josephine. Make haste, as my soul is stretched thin. I cannot bear another moment without your love. As I walk alone through our home, I happen upon a mirror. I've heard rumors that a mirror can become a window to our very soul. How I would like to trespass through your window and be together like when we were young. Which of these mirrors leads to you? I've long thought of joining you versus awaiting your return. If I but drink a sweet poison, you and I could be reunited in an instant. Yet my remaining time on earth would be forfeit. Are not my remaining hours already forfeit without you by my side? I ponder such questions more and more. Time moves slowly now. The hour is late. Clock hands seemingly create the sound of echoes rather than that of forward movement. I keep the drapes drawn over our windows, as nothing of beauty is to be seen outside, and nothing but horror to be seen within. A crow made a permanent residence of our entry eve, constantly bemoaning a warning to those that would listen. I should have listened. But what is it to truly hear? Rain begins pattering softly upon our roof, fitting for my tears of agony without you. Soon the thunder rattles the glass of our windows, and I'm certain of your anger by the ferocity of the drops now pounding down. I would be angry too, robbed of our love and life together. I am angry. I see the drapes aflutter, and I realize I've somehow left a window open. What an oversight. As it is shut, I make out what could be you, standing in our garden. Lightning flashes, and my vision of you is gone. Shall I leave the front door unlocked, just in case? Oh, Josephine. If I light a candle, will you find your way back here, to this place? To but see your shadow upon a corner of our home would be more than enough to break my loneliness. I remember lighting the candles for our dinners. What precious moments those meals were. I and my storytelling, you and your laughter. I shall go and set the table for the event of your return. As I pull plates from the cupboard, I'm reminded your skin was like that of fine china, so fair and delicate, so full of beauty, so easily broken. Why do we choose to quarrel over such arbitrary perceptions? Shouldn't our love have been enough for everlasting happiness? Why must my will always be bent to that of your own? Why couldn't you take no for my answer? I hear a faint version of your laughter down the hall. I do not mind your footsteps upon our floor, or the sway of the chandeliers as you toy with me and move unseen throughout our home. You have always been welcome here with me. I've prepared a delicious meal for two tonight. I pour you the finest of wines, if only you would but be seated and enjoy it with me. Alas, there's an empty chair across from mine. I sense your spirit with me in this moment, spurning my invitation to dine, without regard to the efforts I've made to welcome you home. Do you know how difficult it was to find a true clairvoyant? At what length I went to extend you an offer to join me tonight? I see how you've knocked away your glass. This behavior is not unlike when your temper used to flare in life. Ours was that of a passionate love, and as often the case, with great passion came great outbursts, especially when a lack of understanding arose. What? Now you've gone and thrown the food off the table as well? I'm trying my best here to apologize and seek forgiveness. Can we but rekindle our love? Though the flame of your life has been snuffed out, the smoke from your life's wick could fill these precious halls. We could yet embrace each other once more. You'll remain at my side until my time to depart this mortal plane, and then together we'll depart for the hereafter, our hearts joined forever. Happiness is yours for the choosing. Countless noises emanate from the kitchen. As I enter to find all objects in disarray, I can't help but once again apologize for the distance between us, and how I long for your spirit to reside in peace and love, alongside that of my own. Being dead clearly has struck an emotional chord with you, and I don't begin to claim to understand what it's like in your situation. A knife is pulled by your unseen hand from a pile of silverware now lying on the floor, then thrown across the room, and is now stuck firmly in the doorframe beside me. That's fair. I was the first to wield the kitchen knife in the heat of our last argument. You kept screaming at me, swinging hands that used to embrace me, but in the moment were used as weapons. I only stabbed you in defense. I'm coming to a better understanding of your perspective. You believe it's my fault for stabbing you so many times. But how could you not see that those actions were the only way to bring about peaceful quiet in our relationship? I never intend to kill you, just to quiet your anger. I see my explanation has brought about a stillness in our midst. Do you not understand the lengths I went through to keep you at my side? I wept for days after our last argument. I laid next to you in our bed, hoping you would apologize. I got nothing but a cold shoulder and spiteful silence from your lips. Soon I realized you had dug into your position, and there was nothing I could do. So, I buried you. Until I became so utterly lonely, Upon further reflection, I decided the best way to continue our love was by placing your body within the walls of our home, so that you may feel its warmth, and that you will always be with me, despite the distance our last fight created. Hear me, O Josephine. Stop with your violent retribution, taking your anger out on our possessions and our home. Quiet your moans and your incessant slamming of doors, your throwing of objects. Oh, Josephine, without you, these walls are barren.
And now, Growl. Your attention, please.
It's often curious to us what level of superstition possesses you when confronting the supernatural, as if somehow your being silent or your lack of movement will fool those of us who so clearly are breaking into your here and now. That such forces could take on the magnitude of effort involved in revealing ourselves on your plane of existence, yet somehow be fooled by your mortal efforts at proverbially playing dead. Did you really think staying silent and not moving would help? That somehow we would be unable to perceive your eyes darting around the room, or hear your altered breathing state? After all the work we've done in the effort of revealing ourselves, on your terms, in your context, that we would not detect achieving our goal? Your attention. The truth of these matters is this. Your tactics of stalling in the dark while frozen in fear are only delaying the inevitable. Likewise, the turning on of lights makes no difference to your situation or our intent. Neither do your televisions, phone calls, or silent prayers. It's far best time your kind embrace reality. Whatever shadow now stands at the foot of your bed clearly sought you out. This spirit has come too far to be denied their moment. Consider yourselves our captive audience, for better or for worse.
Anthony wasn't alone. His bedroom was eerily silent. Anthony's eyes darted back and forth across what he could see of his bedroom in the dark. Irrational levels of fear filled his mind. Anthony dared not make a move toward his phone or the lamp beside him. Trying his best to remain silent and still, Anthony reassured himself of all the information from his psychology courses relating to perceptions of the supernatural. My mind is playing tricks on me late at night after this crazy day. Anthony shifted in his bed to his side and closed his eyes, resolute in not letting his imagination get the best of him. At this, his bathroom door slammed shut. Flinging himself upright, turning on the lamp next to his bed, Anthony examined the room. All familiar. Nothing out of the ordinary. Anthony grabbed the handgun he kept in the safe below his bed, his fingers trembling. If this was a home intruder, he felt it would equal the odds. If not, Anthony didn't desire to finish the thought. He checked the bathroom adjacent to his bedroom thoroughly. Nothing. He then did a sweep of the rest of his small suburban home. Every door was secure. Same with the windows. Even his security system was still armed and had not triggered. Anthony set the gun down on his coffee table and glared through the blinds at the neighbor's home. All was quiet on his street as it should be. A phone began vibrating from his nightstand on the other end of the house. Anthony rushed into his bedroom, hoping he would not lose the caller. Glancing at the screen, he was relieved to see it was Zachary reaching out. "Hey, Zach." "Hello, love. Did I wake you? I was lying here sleepless, thinking about how spooked you were earlier during the seance." "I was having trouble sleeping too." "Holly really appreciated your support today. She's just trying to get closure on her brother's passing." Anthony didn't really want to admit what he had just experienced, and in some small way, this call was grounding him. Not that the events earlier in my day were too far off from the activity in this house tonight, Anthony thought to himself before replying. "I feel bad for how Holly has taken her brother's death, but I think, in retrospect, a seance is too far from my comfort zone. I'm just not a fan. I tried to go along with an open mind, but clearly my nerves got the best of me. I think I'll pass on future crystal ball opportunities." Zachary assured he respected and understood how Anthony was feeling. "How about a date tomorrow to make up for it? Just you and me. Maybe we can watch that movie. You know, the one you wanted to see, the new musical with what's his name?" Anthony sighed with relief. "You're the best." "I'm sorry for pressuring you to go today. Get some rest. We'll all get through losing Eric soon enough. We all need time to process, I guess." Zachary ended the call with a promise of sweet dreams, then sent a few heart emojis via text for emphasis. Anthony returned the phone to his nightstand. As he went around his home one last time, checking everything was secure, Anthony reflected on his earlier experience at the seance. He sincerely believed the event to be a money-making scam by the medium. Anthony was offended when the medium chose to embody the conversational style of Eric, Holly's brother, during the communication part of the performance. Anthony knew Eric's goofy mannerisms and way of speaking. It was simply uncanny how well the medium imitated Eric's supposed voice from beyond. Surely the medium had studied videos online of Eric prior to their arrival time. Anthony was certain they got bonus believability points from Holly while performing that bit, as tasteless as he found it. Both Zachary and Holly had assumed Anthony was freaked out by the moment of interaction from beyond the grave, but this was not what upset him. What alarmed Anthony was the reflection, in a mirror directly behind the medium, of an otherworldly beast putting its claw upon his shoulder. Anthony could almost feel the weight of the presence behind him, and the moment was enough for him to jump from the table and exclaim, "I'm sorry, that's enough, I can't do this," and then swiftly exit, waiting outside for them to finish up. Fearful of looking foolish, Anthony kept the details of this experience from Zachary and Holly. Upon reflection, Anthony realized what nasty tricks the mind could play. Here I am, mentally exhausted, trying to support my boyfriend and Holly in their time of emotional need. Seeing figments of my imagination, losing sleep, and then running around my perfectly normal suburban home with a loaded gun in the middle of the night? I need a vacation, or at minimum, some rest. After securing his home and turning the lights out, Anthony remembered leaving his gun on the coffee table in the living room. He returned to the living room and collected his gun, making sure to secure it in the safe under the bed. Wrapping himself in bed sheets, Anthony dozed off to sleep almost immediately. A loud crash and the sound of heavy footsteps filled Anthony's home. Anthony flew out of bed, quickly retrieving his gun from the safe. Pointing the barrel down the dark hallway where the sounds originated from, Anthony clung to the walls while searching for any trace of movement. Rounding the corner to the living room, he quickly noticed his possessions were completely in disarray. The coffee table was flipped, the TV smashed, his leather sofa was ripped. Anthony found the alarm disabled, its pad pulled from the wall and left dangling, as if for added effect. Not wanting to face whatever caused this, he sprinted back down the hall to his bedroom, locking the door behind him. Anthony trained his gun on the door, grabbing his phone in an attempt to dial for help. Anthony cursed in disbelief, as his phone had no service. He fumbled with the lamp closest to him, quickly coming to the conclusion the power was disrupted as well. Heavy footsteps paced in front of his bedroom door. "Leave, or I'll shoot!" Anthony shouted. There was a slight air pressure change in the room. Only silence remained. This small sound shattered the silence. Anthony glanced to the floor just in front of his doorway, now connecting the dots between the sound he was hearing and the source. From under the door came rolling what appeared to be shiny bronze tablets. Bullets. To his horror, Anthony flipped his gun over to find the magazine was missing. He quickly checked the chamber to find that it too had been emptied. His weapon was utterly useless. Anthony moaned out loud, realizing the collection of bullets on the floor was a sign that his bluff had been called. A slight breeze from an unknown origin entered the room and ended just as quickly as it had occurred. A shadow took form in the far corner of Anthony's bedroom. The shape was familiar, that of the monstrosity previously seen placing its claws upon him in the seance mirror. Anthony's mind reeled backward. "It followed me home," he cried to himself in disbelief. The moment immediately following this revelation held the deepest absence of sound a person can experience. The shadow remained motionless and still for what seemed like an eternity, while Anthony remained paralyzed in fear. And then, from the corner of his bedroom, came a growl.
Just dying to read more? Running Chills. Available now at talesbyripgraven.com.
The Running Chills podcast is written, produced, and recorded by Rip Graven. Do not blame Igor. I was never consulted. Spirited voiceover introduction by the talented David Lambert. Heidi is voiced by the wonderful Stephanie Graven. Our tales and various voiceovers are read and performed by the author himself, Rip Graven. Igor does his own voice. Do not even try to take credit, Graven. Do not do it.
The Running Chills podcast is based on Rip Graven's book, Running Chills. For more information, please visit talesbyripgraven.com. Copyright 2023, Rip Graven, all rights reserved. Reproduction of these stories or use of our tales without express permission in any manner is prohibited.
We see you next month with another episode. Maybe.
Thank you for listening.